How the Dodgers can salvage a series against the Pirates, going up against the best pitcher in baseball, Paul Skenes. We have an update on Will Smith, who left the game yesterday with a hand injury. Also, Kyle Hurt, an update on Hurt. Could he come back and help the Dodgers out of the bullpen? We're also talking approach. Do the Dodgers need a new approach? There's some suggesting that they need a new hitting coach. We'll talk about that. And also, a way too early look at the offseason free agency. Who will the Dodgers be after? Are there some more Japanese stars that they could sign? That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, boy, the parade. We got a parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Monkey magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation, a credentialed member of the media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you want to support every single episode, if you want to support me, support the channel, support this show, all you have to do is hit the like button, drop a comment down below. Also, go to gearup.la for all of our latest merch. Lots of awesome t-shirts over there, so definitely go there and find that. Also, we've got some really cool new stuff happening here at Dodgers Nation. And the cool thing that you have to get into is the app. Dodgers Nation has a new app, and our new and improved LA Baseball Report app is now available for download on the App Store and Samsung Store. This app has everything you need surrounding the Dodgers all in one place, from live scores, game schedules, breaking news, and roster updates. Our Dodgers Nation YouTube channel, website, podcast, and social platforms are all directly tied to it. And the app is just not another sports tracker. This app will be your go-to mobile destination for the most interactive coverage of the Dodgers. The link to download this app will be in our bio. Also, we've got all kinds of cool stuff over at the website. So the website is completely new. It's completely redesigned, and we're proud to announce that we redesigned our Dodgers Nation website as we're just 1 month away from the postseason. Yes, they're going to make the postseason, okay? Relax. Our site has been updated to a newer, more dynamic design, but we still offer the same great post-game breakdowns, injury updates, breaking news stories, rumors, and so much more. There's also a new comment system on the way, so you'll be able to share your thoughts after reading an article from one of our writers. You'll be able to do so easier than ever. Check out the site for yourself using the link down below in our bio. All right, so the poll question of the show, the Dodgers Nation poll question of the show, the Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, do the Dodgers have a hitting approach problem, and how would you fix it? And right now, 87% of Dodgers Nation says yes, while 13% say no. So that's pretty significant. That's a pretty large portion of Dodgers fans that think there is an approach issue. So we'll kind of figure out your takes on that as well. So let me know down below, and also during the 7th inning stretch how you're feeling about that. But let's get into that next. That's coming up because we've got so much Dodger baseball. I'm telling you they can salvage this series. We'll get into that next, and I cannot wait to tell you about free agency. But we've got so much Dodger baseball to get into, so let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the hottest story in Dodger baseball is that this team continues to struggle. This team continues to not hit their stride. Things just aren't clicking. We have seen a Dodgers team that has not been able to capitalize on a soft schedule, on the fact that the team that's chasing them in their own division, the San Diego Padres, they've struggled. The Dodgers could have built a massive cushion. They could have gained some serious distance on the Padres and all but wrapped up this division with 23 games to go, because the Padres, they've lost 8 of 10 games. The Padres have lost 4 in a row, but the Dodgers continue to struggle against losing teams. They're 4-11 against losing teams since the beginning of August, 22-29 since July 4th. This team has gone 3-9 against the Angels, Rockies, Diamondbacks, and Pirates in the last 25 days. So this team just can't take care of their own business. And what makes matters worse is that the Dodgers really could also capitalize on the Phillies not playing their best baseball right now. The Phillies lost to the Brewers again yesterday, and they're still within striking distance. But the Dodgers really should have the 2 seed locked up, or at least a comfortable lead with the way they're capable of playing, and they should have ran away with the NL West. Right now, the Dodgers are 2 games back of the Phillies for the second best record in the National League. They do have a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium against Philly in a couple of weeks there. So that definitely is something to feel good about, the fact that you're going head-to-head with those guys, and that ultimately could determine who gets that bye. But you don't want to have to play in that wild card round. You don't want to have to play extra games. And right now, if the season were to end today, you would be in a position where you would have to. And you would be playing a Mets team that has a ton of talent that will have nothing to lose. And that's not what you want. I mean, hey, look at that Giants team is trying to make a late run here. The Giants at 71-69. I mean, the Giants now 4 games back. Who knows what could happen with them in a short stretch here. If they get hot, the Giants are going to do everything they can to make a run. The Giants have gone 9-1 in their last 10. I mean, think about that. 9-1 in their last 10. The Dodgers have gone 5-5. So San Francisco, we all thought that their season was done. We thought that SF stood for season finish and that Oracle Park had already turned into a Spirit Halloween superstore. But clearly that's not the case. So don't forget about San Francisco. Well, where I want to start today, though, is I want to talk about this Dodgers offense once again, and talk about just the aftermath of yesterday, because we know what happened yesterday, of course. Second inning, bases loaded. They couldn't score a single run. Andy Paz goes up there. He strikes out on a pitch off the plate. Earlier in the at-bat, he had a fastball in the zone that he could not just put in play to score at least one run. And after the game, Adrian Gonzalez on Sportsnet LA, you could tell he was fuming. You could tell that he was frustrated because of this Dodgers offense's inability to just do the small things and take away an individual at bat and have a team at bat. And it got me thinking of a conversation that I had with Adrian Gonzalez a few weeks ago when I interviewed him at his new pizza restaurant in West LA. And we got to talking about just the overall approach of the Dodgers. And kind of what he told me was this whole driveline approach that they've adopted, where you're trying to focus on launch angle on fastballs up in the zone, that it makes it very difficult when you don't have ultra talented hitters all adapting that approach. And when you are constantly trying to drive the ball up in the zone on fastballs, and you're trying to always look for your pitch that you can drive, that sometimes you don't hit balls in play on pitches earlier in bats to just score runs and pass the baton. And he told me that, yeah, he thinks that it's an approach that probably needs to be adjusted because the Dodgers have stayed committed to this for so long. It's okay, we go to the plate, we try to see as many pitches as we can. We try not to expand the zone, but we're trying to do damage when we get our pitch to hit. When we are looking for our zone and we're just focused on that versus, hey, if there's a pitch that's in the middle of the plate that we can drive, that we can just hit a fly ball to the opposite field to score a run, we're not going to do that. Instead, we are, as he said after the game on Sportsnet LA, we're going to look for that cookie. And they can't keep doing this. They cannot keep going along with this approach because the truth is, I mean, just look at this thing logically, right? The truth is that teams don't hit as many home runs as they hit singles and doubles, right? Teams don't hit as many doubles as they hit singles, right? The truth is that you are going to hit a lot less home runs than you are going to get base hits. So just without even going to the advanced stuff, which you know we can do, just think about that logically. What the Dodgers try to do at the plate, on a consistent basis is you're basically trying to do the hardest thing, and you're trying to do that more than they are the easiest thing, right? Instead of putting the ball in play, instead of hitting a single, instead of drawing a walk, you're trying to slug and hit a home run, triple, or double. So just by the pure nature of the odds of that, you're going to fail at that more. And when you fail at that more, it's going to lead to games like yesterday where you can't capitalize with the bases loaded, where you get shut out once again. The Dodgers, they've been shut out 8 times this year. The Dodgers have been shut out twice in the last week, 3 times in a month. This offense should never, ever, ever get shut out. I know baseball is going to baseball at times, but this offense should never get shut out. And it just makes you wonder if you need to go back to the drawing board when it comes to an approach, when it comes to a strategy, when it comes to a philosophy. Because like Adrian Gonzalez told me, they have been committed to this driveline style of hitting, this style where you're looking for a bad pitch that you can punish and you looking for that mistake. But when that mistake doesn't come, you're probably going to be an out or a strikeout, and something just not's going to happen, right? So it makes you wonder. I mean, look, good restaurants, they adapt. They change the menu. And I think that the Dodgers offense needs to tweak the menu, change the menu a little bit, and add some stuff. And not just, look, if you're in and out, right, and you got the double-double, like, you'd never have to change the menu. And they got a lot of guys that they don't have to change the menu on, right? You're not worried about Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and guys like that. But the truth is, you are worried about guys that aren't future Hall of Famers that need to provide consistent offense with this group. And everyone mentions Max Muncy. The Dodgers offense averages 5.6 runs per game with Max Muncy and less than 4 with him out for stretches. Yeah, Max Muncy is pivotal. He's 100% crucial to this team's success on offense. But guess what? Max Muncy has a 1-year club option left for $10 million. I think there's a chance that they do tack on an extra year. He stays here for a couple more years. But the truth of the matter is Max Muncy is not going to be here forever. Max Muncy is closer to 40 than he is to 30. And you're really saying that that's the key? That's what changes this offense is Max Muncy? Sure, it does. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't, but it should be. No, even when Max Muncy is out, this team still has a philosophy in place that is foolproof because of the talent that they have, that they can avoid these dry spells. And you look at a team that is as talented as they are, it's absolutely inexcusable the numbers they put up with the bases loaded. This is a Dodgers team with all-stars everywhere, first ballot Hall of Famers, some of the best hitters in the sport, and the Dodgers with the bases loaded this year. They have a 628 OPS, a 628 on base plus slugging percentage. That is 28th out of 30. They're right near the bottom, along with the Angels, the Twins, the Trastros, the Pirates, the Royals. Some of the worst teams in baseball with the bases loaded. Batting average with the bases loaded, the Dodgers, they're also near the bottom. I mean, you're looking at a team that really, really struggles this year. I mean, bases loaded, the Dodgers, a 225 batting average. That's 27 out of 30. That's in between the Athletics and the Angels. That's inexcusable. That is telling of the kind of approach they have. With the bases loaded, you're going to see strikes. And when you see strikes, you can get sacrifice flies. You can hit the ball to the right side. You can find a way to put the ball in play to score more runs. And the Dodgers have been one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball with the bases loaded, and something needs to change. Mookie Betts said this is not a time for a come-to-Jesus moment the other night after the loss. I'm not saying it is, but I do think that this year as a whole, I think the game has evolved. And whether that's better pitching, whether that is their players just kind of getting a little older, like the Dodgers have to change the menu. You got to change the menu. The good restaurants, they do it, and you got to switch things up just a little bit to give yourself a better chance to avoid these cold spells. And here was Dave Roberts after the game just talking about the Dodgers' approach.
I think, tonight, you never want to say that one inning kind of win or loses a game, but the second inning, bases loaded, nobody out, and I just felt we had two bad at-bats and didn't come up with anything. We had the starter on the ropes and had a chance to, get a lead, get the starter out, and, building that inning was fantastic. I thought the at-bats, the taking of the walks, and then we get to a position and we didn't finish. And again, I just think that, there are a couple of at-bats there that just, I think that flipped the game, and it flipped the momentum, and the bottom half, McKain hits a homer, and, and we just really couldn't put anything else together. It looms. It loomed, and it still bothers me. I think the thing is that, as we've been talking about, is your first at-bat could be your most important at-bat of the game, and it could determine the outcome of a game. And so, we've got to collectively get all of us on board understanding that, the magnitude of each at-bat, each situation, and right now we're not all there. We're not consistently. And so, it flipped the momentum, the game itself. And, there's a lot of guys that are still trying to take good at-bats and win pitches and take team at-bats. And, other times we're going away from that. And I sound, repetitive, where it's got to get better. And it's not easy. Hitting is not easy. But I do believe that having the right approach, the right mindset, the right urgency in our particular at-bat lends itself to better results.
So you listen to the words that Dave Roberts said, it's clear to me that he understands. It's an urgency, it's an approach issue, but are old habits hard to break? I think that's kind of the big question, because we know that this is a team that they believe in crooked number innings. They believe that if you want the dub, you've got to slug, like as I said. But I also think that this is a team that's long overdue to evolve with an approach. And it's been the same approach that we've seen for the longest time, and it's magnified in games like yesterday. Now, you do have a tough matchup today, but you do have Blake Snell on the mound. So Blake Snell going up against Paul Skenes is one of the better starting pitcher matchups that you're going to see. Now, the Pirates, they have one of the worst lineups in baseball, but it is the Dodgers right now, so it's tough to even predict this kind of stuff. But they do have a 631 OPS against lefties. That's well below league average. So Blake Snell should have an advantage today. And you look at Paul Skenes. So he's been fantastic. He's going to run away with the National League Cy Young, but he is a guy that doesn't always lead to wins for his team, and that's just because he pitches for a bad team. Because when he pitches this year, the Pirates, they're 15-13. That is a winning record, but only 2 games above 500 when he's on the mound. Now, when he factors into the decision, they're 9-9. So you can beat Paul Skenes. We did see him back at Dodgers Stadium when he shut out this offense. He got in 6 1/3 innings, and the Pirates shut out the Dodgers that night 3-0. But it's not going to be easy. But I do hope that the Dodgers rise to the occasion. We've seen whether it's a big matchup against a World Series contending team, a division rival, a National League rival, the Yankees, whatever it may be. The Dodgers get up for big games. They get up for big matchups. Clearly, Paul Skenes had his way with this lineup earlier in the season. It's not going to be easy. But tonight in Pittsburgh is definitely a great opportunity for this Dodgers team to get some momentum heading into Baltimore, a Baltimore team that just swept the San Diego Padres. Now, scoring runs on Skenes is not going to be easy, especially with Will Smith out of the lineup today, most likely. I mean, Skenes has held teams to 2 or fewer runs on 23 different times this year and no earned runs 11 times. So, yeah, runs are not easy to come by. Offense is at a premium against Paul Skenes. And you're not going to see Will Smith in the lineup. That's what Dave Roberts said most likely after the game. We'll see what they do. We're awaiting to see if they've made a move. Chris Oakey, he has experience handling a big league pitching staff. So he's probably the guy that you bring up in this situation. And we'll see if there's anything more than that. We know they have Ben Rortvedt as another option too, but Chris Oakey is ahead of him in the organization. But here was Dave Roberts on Will Smith and the hand contusion that he suffered after the game.
From what I understand, he's sore. There was some swelling, got an x-ray. X-ray's negative, so that's a positive. Day to day. But yeah, it's gonna be hard to imagine him in there tomorrow. Yeah, we're talking about it, talking to the trainers and trying to see if it makes sense to bring someone. So we haven't made that decision, but most likely we'll probably bring someone.
So yeah, it says most likely to bring someone up. And Will Smith, he's been durable all season. It has been his best year offensively. He leads the National League in on-base percentage. So to not have him in the lineup is definitely going to be a major loss. Smith hitting .296 with a 153 weighted runs created plus 17 home runs in 109 games, 432 plate appearances. But one thing I would love to ask Will Smith is if he's going to have his hand behind his back like we've seen all the great catchers do throughout the history of this game. Johnny Bench famously was a major proponent. You want to keep that hand behind your back and you avoid exposing it to the pitch. Curious to see if he'll make an adjustment there. Honestly, you just never know and when it could hit. And that was a moment right there where I'm pretty sure he would love to have had his hand behind his back, and now it's leading to him missing at least one game, and we'll see how he responds. Hopefully this is nothing major, but that could have been catastrophic, right? I mean, that breaks his hand. He has to miss significant time in potentially the postseason. This team's chances of going back-to-back are very, very slim, I think, without Will Smith, just because not only does he provide a lot offensively, he's the clutch prince, we know that, but also there's the fact that he knows how to handle this pitching staff when it comes to his ability to throw out runners. He's a plus on that end as well. I do think Dalton Rushing is just incredible, and just speaking to these pitchers, they just hold him to such a high regard as a game caller. So I think that Rushing could hold his own from that standpoint. But hey, you do not want to throw a rookie catcher into this situation where he's forced to do that. I mean, let's all hope that Will Smith is feeling good today, but he's most likely going to miss today, and we'll see when he's going to come back. Now, another injury update. This is going to be a sneaky one, and that is about Kyle Hurt. So Kyle Hurt has been he's been a part of the Dodgers organization for quite some time, and he had Tommy John surgery last summer. A rewind on Kyle Hurt, he came to the Dodgers in the Dylan Floro for Kyle Hurt and Alex Vesia trade from Miami. He went to USC. He's a Trojan. And Dave Roberts said about Kyle Hurt, and if he could be an option for this team, he said, quote, well, I mean, if he continues to trend, I like how he says that. No, I'm just going to cut myself off real quick. Dave always says if he continues to trend. You know, you can trend both ways, right? You could trend on the wrong side. You could trend up. You could trend down. So I think he just assumes that we think anytime you use the word trend, it means trend up. But I digress there. But Dave says, well, I mean, if he continues to trend, you never know how things are going to play out. But to keep that open as an option and alive is certainly the plan, yes. He said about the progress that Hurt has made after missing the last 13 months, it's great. You know, obviously with Emmet, we've seen that this year, and Evan Phillips is going through it. Then guys go through it. But to kind of be isolated or kind of on that island and then get back in the mix, it's good for him. So, yeah, for Kyle Hurt, he's been pitching down the minor league level. He gave up 1 run and 1 hit and 1 walk in 1 inning against Sugarland, the Space Cowboys, by the way. Hey, Sugarland, that's a Houston region. Grandparents used to live there. But he did start the season on the 15-day IL, went to the 60-day IL in April, and he has been going up against hitters since mid-July, and he's pitching in minor league games. So we'll see. I mean, Kyle Hurt was nasty a couple years ago, and I'm going to continue to talk about these guys until Kirby Yates and some of these other guys gain my trust, even Brock Stewart. I mean, we know Bobby Miller. We know Kyle Hurt. We know some of these younger guys aren't as experienced, but from a pure stuff standpoint, they certainly bring something to the table. And I don't want the Dodgers just to put guys in that bullpen because they paid them, because they gave them $13 million for Kirby Yates, and because they traded for Brock Stewart. No, go with the best 13 pitchers you have available, and the talent and the way this stuff plays should be the main factor and all that. So Kyle, the Big Hurt, I mean, that's a name to think about. Okay, coming up next, we're going to have some fun with this one. We are going to look ahead to the offseason, and I'm not saying that because I think the Dodgers aren't going to win the World Series and that the offseason is going to arrive earlier than we had expected. No, the Dodgers are still going back and they're going to win the World Series, but it's never too early. I hope that's one thing that you guys appreciate about this show is usually we're the first to mention names, and then those names get around and we hear them on every show and website. And I mean, Yamamoto's example, Roki's example, some of these other names example. So we want to get you briefed on these names as soon as possible just so they don't come as a surprise. So that's coming up next on Thursday's Dodgers Rumors.
Dodgers Rumors Roundup.
Okay, so this morning, Jeff Passan, he put out his piece that explores the free agency picture in Major League Baseball for the upcoming season. The title of the article is Early MLB Free Agency Intel, Tucker, Ime, Schwarber, and more. And there's not a lot of names here that are linked directly to the Dodgers, but I do want to start with the Japanese players that he discusses. And we've talked about Munetaka Murakami quite a bit on this show, but I want to talk about a pitcher, Totsuya Imai. And this is a guy that has continued to turn heads, continued to build a buzz. He's someone that the Dodgers could go after, and it makes you wonder if they were going to want to invest a lot in another pitcher. But Tatsuya Imai is pretty incredible. He really is. I mean, he's 27 years old. He's 5'11", 154 pounds. He throws gas. He's kind of like Yamamoto-ish in the way he uses fastball. because he can sit at 95, 96, but he can pump it up to 98 to 99 when he wants to. He's got a nasty slider, nasty changeup, a splitter, a curveball. He throws a sinker. So like a lot of Japanese pitchers, he has a dynamic array of pitches, a deep repertoire. And Imai, he is someone that I think could benefit from the success that Shota Imanaga and Kodai Senga and Yoshinobu Yamamoto have had in this league, in that those dudes aren't Shohei's height. They're not 6'4". They're 5'10", 5'11", and Yamamoto and Senga are actually shorter than Imai. So he at 5'11", 154, maybe a couple years ago, before those guys had success, there might be more doubts about if he can withstand the rigors of a Major League Baseball season. But now we've seen there's plenty of examples of Japanese pitchers that are under 6 feet that are great. Like I said, Yamamoto, Imanaga, Kodai Senga. Kodai Senga is someone that when he's on, he's great. He's a little on the taller side. He's like 6'1", but Shota Imanaga and Yamamoto, they're guys that are under 6 feet. So all those guys, though, collectively, they're like not the ideal height, right? They're not 6'4", they're not 6'3". Senga, the tallest of the bunch, but then you got Yamamoto and Shota Imanaga. So it's going to be interesting to see what this guy could fetch on the open market, because results-wise, Imai has a 1.5 ERA this year, 159 strikeouts, 37 walks. He's allowed just 4 home runs in 143 2/3 innings. And yes, you've got the dead ball in Japan. You don't see as many long balls in the NPB, but still, if you look deep into his numbers and the way his stuff plays, the velocity, the movement, the spin rate, this guy has big league stuff. Does he have the ceiling and upside of a Yoshinobu Yamamoto? I don't think so, but he's someone that I think have a really good career here. He's still young, too. He's still 27. And a lot of MLB teams have been out to scout him. You've got 20 major league scouts were at his last start on Tuesday. And during that start, he had 10 strikeouts and he gave 2 hits and a shutout. So that's an impressive game to scout. The question is, what kind of money will he get? There's no way, in my opinion, that he has the upside to ink a deal like Yamamoto's at $325 million. But who knows? Jeff Passan says one insider within the executive offices said that he could get a deal upward of $200 million. So $200 million's a lot. There's also some talk it could be more of the $150 million range. Maybe a deal like Patrick Corbin's in 2018, a 6-year, $140 million range. There's some other scouts that said $80 million was where he was going to be. So that is a very wide range of offers, of potential contracts, depending on who you ask. I mean, you had people saying as low as 80. You had some people saying as high as 200. And we'll see. I mean, look, you can never count out the Dodgers, and we don't know what their needs are going to be specifically right now, because if your rotation stays intact like it is, Shohei Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Yamamoto, all those guys stay healthy, then you're doing pretty well. You got 4 surefire game 1 starter ace level pitchers in your top 4 spots. And then Roki Sasaki, I think, is just, I mean, it's tough. We talked a lot about him yesterday. I mean, it's very difficult to even kind of assess his future right now. But I don't think you can bank on him to be a guy that you can trust every 5th or 6th day in that rotation. I think that's just unrealistic right now. We'll see if there's something medically that they're going to kind of revisit or discuss or address in the offseason. But clearly, he's not right, because the fastball looks nothing like it did in the NPB. And yes, you got some more whiffs on it, and he has improved a little bit, but not enough to say, hey, he could pitch in the bigs. Dave Roberts said yesterday that you're probably not going to see him pitching at the big league level for the rest of this season, and that's because the command and the velocity just isn't where it needs to be to have that conversation. So that's very disappointing, but yeah, that's a name that you want to familiarize yourself with for sure. a name that is going to start to generate some buzz. Tatsuya Imai of the NPB plays for the Seibu Lions. So that's one. Other Japanese stars, we talk about Murakami as a potential third base option. Now, the skinny on Munetaka Murakami, we did an in-depth deep dive on him a few months ago, and we know he's got the power. The issue with him is he strikes out a lot. He misses pitches in the zone, and defensively, he's just not a great fit for the Dodgers because everyone's trying to make him out to be a third baseman. Most insiders believe that he's a first baseman, a DH, and possibly a corner outfielder. So the Dodgers could theoretically have a spot open in left field, but that would be a project for Murakami, and he's got to want to play that position too. Remember, he has to want to be here, and who knows, he might want to be somewhere where he could be a DH, where he could be a first baseman. San Diego could be a possible option. But, hey, this guy's an absolute slugger. 6'2", 213 pounds. And in the NPB, they average a home run every 60 plate appearances. That is definitely on the low side. And he's hit 15 and 138 this year, even dealing with the injury. So that's a home run every 9.2 plate appearances. So just think about that. The average in the league is one home run every 60 plate appearances. Murakami hits one home run every 9.2 plate appearances. That's elite power in any league. He had 56 home runs a couple years ago. He passed Sadaharu O's single-season home run record. That was an epic record that the NPB and Japanese baseball fans had treasured for so many years. It had stood since 1964, so that alone kind of vaulted him into legend status in Japan. And the question is, like I said, the defense, the health, how teams view him. You kind of look at this Dodgers team this year and you kind of make you wonder, do you really want another boomer bust type of hitter? I'm sure they would consider it for sure. It would come down to his buy-in on the defensive side and what they're going to do with Max Muncy as well. Because, I mean, Max Muncy, they're probably going to pick up that club option for sure. I mean, there is a world that I know just interviewing Max Muncy, I know that Max Muncy, he would not want that 1 year, $10 million deal alone. Like, because if they didn't pick it up, I think he'd get more in free agency, especially if he comes back and hits well. And I know that he wants to finish his career with the Dodgers. I remember last year he said that even if they traded for Arenado, that he'd be fine just being on the bench. Like, he wants to be a Dodger, but I also think he wants something close to fair market value. And his last couple of deals, he's definitely gave the team a discount. There's another name to know from Japan. That's Okamoto. And Okamoto is a little older than the other two. He's 29, plays for the Yomiuri Giants. I actually got to see him firsthand. And he's someone that he hits for average the MPB, 314. He takes his walks, 11 home runs and 201 plate appearances, so doesn't really have that same level of power. He's projected a contract in the $50 million range. This is not a guy that I think, I mean, you want to know all the names, I'll tell you all the names, but I don't think this is a name that the Dodgers will have that much interest in, especially because, I mean, he's a first baseman outfield. He does play third base. He's a right-handed batter, but yeah, I don't think this is someone the Dodgers will be heavily invested in. Now, other names that Jeff Passan talked about, obviously Kyle Tucker. So Kyle Tucker is interesting just because a couple of months ago, there was a report that the Dodgers were interested in potentially signing him. And Tucker, he had an awful July. He had a 572 OPS in his first 26 games after the All-Star break. So he definitely wasn't a major slump, but he has been a top 15 hitter in baseball over the last couple of seasons. He's going to get paid, though. I mean, he's going to turn 29 in January. He's looking for a $350 to $400 million deal. He's someone that wants Mookie Betts like money. And he's, yeah, it'd be tough to imagine the Dodgers after signing Teo to that $66 million deal. You still have Edman under contract. You have Andy Paz emerging. if Kyle Tucker would really be an option, unless you would want to move Tommy Edman to the infield really full time and then open up a spot there. So I don't really see the Dodgers as major players for him. I really don't. Because, I mean, to kind of get the Dodgers to really go crazy for you, like Mookie or Shohei, guys like that, it's like you got to be great and you got to bring the other stuff. And I'm not just saying that. This is from what I've heard from people that make these decisions inside this organization. And we're talking about branding, jersey sales, putting butts in the seats, marketability, that kind of stuff. And Kyle Tucker, let's be honest, he just doesn't have that sizzle that the Dodgers look for when it comes to giving guys $300 million. Great player, not so sure it's a great fit for the Dodgers. Alex Bregman's an interesting one that he talks about. He signed a 3-year, $121 million deal with the Red Sox the night before spring training, but he has an opt-out, so he can leave. And if he does, he immediately becomes one of the most sought-after free agents. He's going to be 32. We know the baggage with the Astros and him being a cheater. I don't see it happening, but the Dodgers could be in the market for a third baseman. We'll see. And we'll see how this year plays out. If this year plays out where things happen bad, I mean, Bregman is a guy that can get his bat on the ball. He's definitely been one of the best hitters in the last couple of seasons. I mean, really for longer than that. Since 2017, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. Will the Dodgers shake hands with the enemy like that? I don't know. Maybe at his press conference, he can have his Astros ring in a blender and just blend it and just make it explode or blow it up in front of everyone. And, Dodgers fans can boo him for 81 times a year. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. Other guys on the list, Cody Bellinger can opt out. And Bellinger, he's going to be one of the best bats on the market, really. If he turns down that $25 million player option, that includes a $5 million buyout, he's someone that, hey, Bellinger's had a good year. He's on pace to have his most home runs and RBI since his MVP season. The defense, not as great as it was, but the defense still plays. I mean, he can still play multiple positions, and offensively, a 129 weighted runs created plus. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, he definitely proved that he can hit again. I'm just laughing because I'm like, am I talking myself into Cody Bellinger? Not necessarily saying that, but I mean, Belly's been good. Like, Belly is he's still pretty young. He's going to be 30, but I mean, what kind of deal is he looking for? It's kind of my question. Like $100+ million deal. Does he want a deal kind of like the Chris Bryant deal that he signed with the Rockies? I'm just curious to think about kind of what he's after. He's played mainly left field this year, but he's also played center field and right field, so all three outfield positions. He's played 4 games at first, so he brings you that positional versatility that the Dodgers covet. And then defensively, he's been above average. He's 6 outs above average. So Bellinger's a ball player, man. Like, say what you want about the dude. He's a ball player. And remember the strikeouts? Dude, he's striking out at a 13.2% clip. That is a career best. Not hitting the ball is hard, and the average exit velo is not elite, anything like that, but definitely has adjusted. He really has. He's an 837 OPS this year, which is really, really solid with 27 home runs. So he could be like a 30-homer guy for you that plays above average defense. So, hey, I don't know. Like, the way this season's going, I'm starting to like really just like have wild thoughts about roster construction, about how to shake things up, and we'll see. I mean, if Tommy Edman continues to get injured in center field, I mean, do you really? And Andy Paz is not a future center fielder. Like, he's just not. It makes you wonder. Do you have to kind of consider that? That's another thing to consider. Also, I want to throw this one out there, and I'm dead serious about this one. Kenley Jansen is going to be a free agent, and Kenley Jansen has been really good. And let's not forget, Kirby Yates is going to be gone. Michael Kopech, if he has a really good September and October, I think he could earn himself some good money. I remember talking to Kopech, and he told me that he wants to try being a starting pitcher again, so we'll see if he tries to pursue that. But you're going to lose those guys for sure. And then, who knows? I mean, Kenley, like, can you imagine if Kenley was on this team right now? Like, he would definitely be one of the most trusted relievers. And he is, as Jeff Passan points out, he is old reliable, and he is going to have his first sub-3 ERA season since 2021. And he's not as dominant or as elite as he was at the peak of his powers because he was just so good that, I mean, Kenley at his best was all-time great level stuff, but he's still really effective. I mean, he really is. And the reason why I would consider Kenley Jansen back with the Dodgers is because you're losing those guys that we talked about, and he would love nothing more than to be a Dodger, and he would give them a team-friendly deal. He still lives in L.A. He still, I think, inside loves the Los Angeles Dodgers. He'd want to finish his career with the Dodgers. We're talking about a guy that could be a Hall of Famer one day as a reliever. He, without a doubt, is the best Dodgers closer all time when it comes to just overall stats. Sure, roided out Eric Gagne was better at the peak of his powers when he was on the juice, but Kenley Jansen, 12 years for the Dodgers, 12 years for this organization, and he racked up 350 saves. He's at 391 saves in the National League, 81 saves in the American League. Who knows? I mean, year with the Dodgers, last month the Angels, maybe you get to 500 saves. I mean, that's pretty serious stuff. And like I said, it would come at a team discount. And I think that if you're Andrew Friedman, he's probably not going to want to sign relievers to big multi-year deals after what we've seen with Tanner Scott. So that is Thursday's Dodgers rumor session. And I want to get all your takes about the guys we talked about. No, that's a lot. But remember, every Thursday is focused on the future, the rumors, roster of the future. And I know you guys love that stuff. So, yeah, it's fun to think about, fun to talk about. And we will hit that next here on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys some good time on this one. I'm looking for a comment of the show. I'm going to look for a comment of the show. And the comment of the show, we're going to feature on Instagram, feature on X, and let's get it rolling. So, all right, let's see what we got here. I know you guys are a little frustrated just because, yeah, we know it's not fun to lose like this. Ray Velasquez says, how about no D-Mac? Where's the pressure? Dodgers or Angels? Enough said. Stop it. If man. Look, I mean, I do think that's a factor with Tanner Scott. I think that he's still getting used to pitching for a major market team that has World Series pressure. The Padres and the Marlins, they're not on the same level or even close to it for that matter. And pressure is big, but I think that, Dodger Blue, D-Mac, you're the one saying don't want to get back with your ex. I think I don't want to get back with my ex when it comes to Bellinger necessarily, but I think that, Kenley Jansen, I would consider at the possible deal that he would sign. I'm all about value, right? Like if Kenley Jansen wanted to come back for 3 years and there was a 2-year deal or anything like that on the table for another team, I would say hell no. But on a 1-year team-friendly deal, I think it'd be interesting, especially from what we've seen from the relievers this year, where if you sign these big relievers to multi-year deals, you can get burned. So we got Foop says Kenley never took accountability on his blown saves. S92, bring back Tim Anderson. Yeah, he was not there. D-Mac, where's your mullet? Michael McCaffrey. Bring Edwin Diaz. That's from Rusdell Ravilla. Why would you need to bring Edwin Diaz when you already have Alexis Diaz? Of course, I'm only kidding. But yeah, Edwin Diaz is another guy that is probably going to opt out. He has 2 years and $37 million left on his deal. He's been really good, a 1.87 ERA, 4 to 5 strikeout to walk ratio. He's going to test free agency once again. The Mets, we'll see if they re-sign him, though, before he hits the open market. They've done that before. We'll see if they do that again. And, yeah, do you really think a year after signing Tanner Scott to a 4-year, $72 million deal where he has vastly underperformed that Andrew Friedman is going to want to pay big for Edwin Diaz? It's tough to imagine that. It's tough to imagine that he's going to want to do that. We got a super chat, $2. Just got here. Anyone mention Ramon Laureano. So, yeah, Ramon Laureano. Let's see here. We got, appreciate the super chat, by the way. I love that. A super chat, and someone wants to talk about Ramon Laureano. And, yeah, I mean, he's a guy that's been raking. We'll see what kind of deal that he ultimately gets. Doesn't play great defense. Is kind of having maybe an outlier season, but dude's got a bat, man. Dude can rake. There's no doubt about that. I definitely respect some Ramon Laureano. We've got, let's do some more, guys. We got Belly would have been a better fit than Conforto for Martin Troop. Yeah, I mean, look, Conforto's still relatively cheap at $17 million and 1 year, and Belly, I think it was at $27 million in the opt-out. He has a $25 with a $5 million buyout. So you have to give him a multi-year deal when he's opting out of that, right? Chris Frodesaker, that short right field porch helps his bat at Yankee Stadium. That's a good point, Chris Frodesaker. We've got Belly gets free weed at any LA dispensary. That could be a comment of the show contender from Foop. We've got Lucy Chen. We need to upgrade our outfield defense. Can't believe we have the worst outfielder defense. Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying it all year. I mean, the outfield defense has been bad, and it gets magnified when guys out there don't hit. The only way to make that make sense was for the outfielders to overperform offensively. Like, Conforto and Teo had to be well above league average offensively to make up for their bad defense, but Teo's been average, and Conforto's been well below average, and since the beginning of June, they've both been below average. In fact, Teo's been worse than Conforto for the most part offensively, but I still believe in Teo. I really do. We got Esther Ruiz speed for no reason. We've got Michael McCaffrey. Belly needs structure and a short haircut to be successful. Okay. Hey, they lifted that. How about the Yankees? They lifted that policy. Just so Devin Williams can be terrible. Makes no sense, but I agree with you for sure. Martin Troop, D-Mac, the Dodgers just need a stiff kick in the ass to get rolling again. Let's go, Dodgers. Mr. Classic, bring up Joe Kelly, too. Too late for that. That's not happening. September 1st was the deadline. We'll find out what happened there. We've got D-Max still with the ifs. I mean, that's kind of the story with a lot of the stuff. No offense, but Kenley close to 500 saves, will be a future Hall of Famer. We should re-sign Conforto for 10 years. Foop, I might have to ban you for life. I think I'm going to ban Foop for life for that one, guys. Okay, you know what? I'm going to have to ban Foop for life for suggesting that we re-sign Michael Conforto for another 10 years. Come on, Foop. You're better than that. There's no way you actually believe that. I'm going to have to hit you with the old school. Throwback Gavin Lux bruh for that one.
Bruh.
Like, come on. Double. Like, there's no way that you actually think that. Obviously, you're just messing, so I like the humor. We've got Don Davis. Sounds like you're dismissing the season, D-Mac. I said that at the top of the show before we did that segment. That's not the case. Every Thursday, we do Dodgers Rumors, where we look ahead to free agency or trade rumors. And I still am confident that this team is going to make a deep run. I know that right now they're in a rut. Right now they've been struggling, losing to bad teams and not coming through and executing in situations where you need better at bats. But still, I think of two things when I think of this Dodgers team. I think of one, the experience, the guys that they have on this roster that have won World Series titles, and they're going to be more comfortable in those situations than their opponent. And two, this starting rotation is the best Dodgers starting rotation entering the postseason in the Andrew Friedman era. It truly is. Yamamoto, Blake Snell, Ohtani, Glasnow are all game one starters for most of this league. And when you have elite starting pitching in October, it's a major advantage. And by the time that October is here, Max Muncy and Tommy Edman are going to be back in this offense. I think Mookie has been a lot better of late. No one really talks about it, but Mookie Betts has really, really improved. And as the defense has been great all season, and the bat has come around. And Mookie Betts has really just looked like a more respectable bat, and that's what you want. Had a couple hits the other day. Yesterday went over 3, But in the month of August, he hit 288 with a 762 OPS. And I truly believe that the best is yet to come for Mookie Betts. So I still believe in this team. And two, there's just no juggernauts, right? There's no elite teams in Major League Baseball that really scare you. No one want to play the Dodgers. So no, to answer your question, I am not dismissing this season. I still believe they can. But let's not forget, there's a reason why it's very difficult to repeat in Major League Baseball. It does not happen often. But if there's a team that has the talent and depth to do it, I do think it's the Dodgers. Kirsch, we got, someone says, bring back Kirsch, one final year with Kirsch and Kenley. JF, still remember Kenley. We got some more down here. Matt, and when Kenley blows his first save and starts in his issues in his diaper, then what? DFA him? That's from Matt. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you can. You can DFA him because he'd be on a 1-year contract. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't DFA him after one game, but that's a part of that financial flexibility of sending guys to 1-year deals, especially bullpen pieces that are inconsistent from year to year. Super chat, Phillies may be tough for us. 199. Yeah, Phillies have good starting pitching. They have some dogs, and Schwarber is a beast, and Trey Turner's really having an MVP caliber season. You added Duran out of the pen. I think the Phillies would for sure be the toughest matchup. I think it's Phillies. I think it's Padres, Brewers, kind of in that tier right there. But yeah, I mean, my preseason prediction was Dodgers, Phillies, NLCS, and then it was Dodgers, Astros, World Series. So yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the Phillies are a team that is in a very tight World Series window too. That could definitely be that. There's no doubt about it. Michael McCaffrey, Teo's a little overconfident left. MTV Gen X watcher. By the way, D-Mac, we've got, all right, looks like, appreciate you, MTV. We got, if the Dodgers have Soto and Ohtani on offense, they will be dangerous. Yeah, exactly. Re-sign Lance Lynn from Martin. I love it. Kevin Parker, D-Mac, does someone besides Roberts make day-to-day player decisions? I need to know who else to badmouth and have DFA from Kevin Parker. Yeah, I mean, it's a completely collaborative effort from the front office, baseball development, Dave Roberts, the hitting coaches, pitching coaches. All these guys are involved when it comes to lineup construction, when it comes to playing guys at certain positions. So, yeah, it's not Dave Roberts making all the calls. They have said time and again that when it comes to bullpen management, though, Dave Roberts is the guy that's responsible with pressing those buttons. He is provide a lot of information as far as matchups, and that definitely plays a role in him making those decisions. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. It is a team-wide effort. Someone did ask me how the process goes for team interviews in the clubhouse after games. I saw that as a comment. I want to give. By the way, if you guys comment after the show, I'm going to be responding to all these comments too. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But let's see. We got, I want to read this comment here. Where's the comment for after the show? Basically saying that, basically I was asked, how does it work? So basically how it works is this. So all the reporters, they line up outside of the Dodgers clubhouse, and there's a long line. And if Yamamoto or Roki Sasaki or Shohei Ohtani is doing a post-game interview, it will be outside of the clubhouse. They have a step and repeat with all the Dodgers logos and the advertisements on it. And then when it's time for the clubhouse to open up, there's a gentleman in the front named Richard or Big Al, and they'll check your press pass. You'll go inside the Dodgers clubhouse. Usually there'll be very loud music playing. And it sometimes there's smoke there, like smoke after a win if they're celebrating. And then guys are at their clubhouse lockers, and they're either pre or post shower. They're on their phones, just kind of getting ready to leave. Some guys will have already been into the cafeteria. Well, they have picked up some drinks, some food. They'll put it in a bag to leave and walk out. But basically how it works is you wait for the guys to get fully dressed, and the reporters will kind of huddle near them. And whether it's a player that had a impact on that game negatively or positively, they kind of get the sense when they're going to be requested for an interview. And then Kirsten or Dave Vassay or whoever's doing the Sportsnet role will go over to them and ask for an interview, and then they'll acquiesce, and then that's how it's all done. So basically, the way it's done is, the player asks, or Kirsten asks the player, and then we all get involved. Usually what I usually do is I just go up to players that I know on the team after the game, and I'll just go and talk to them, and I'll go player to player. And sometimes I'll record it. Sometimes I won't, because when I don't record it, they'll tell me like really, really good stuff. So that's kind of what I do. And then when the big scrums break out, go over to the scrums and then ask questions there. Some players, though, they're pretty good about it. Like if they don't want to be interviewed, like you just won't see them. Like there's been times where we go to the Dodgers clubhouse after the game, you literally will see 3 players. And either in the training room, they're in the eating, dining space, or whatever it may be. Like if they don't want to be interviewed, even if they've had a good game or a bad game, like they just won't be in there. But if they're in there, then there's a good chance they're going to be interviewed. The starting pitcher always gets interviewed, so that's kind of how that plays out. But all right, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. We got the questions, the chats in. You guys were on fire today, so you guys were bringing it like you always do. Appreciate that. But actually, we got a little more time, and we're running out of time, but we got to do the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
All right, so today for the walk-off, couple of things I want to mention, and one of them is about Shohei Ohtani. So Shohei Ohtani hit his 100th home run for the Dodgers, and it was historic. I mean, he was the fastest Dodger to ever hit 100 home runs, and also it was the hardest hit home run for the Dodgers in the StatCast era. And here's a wild stat. Since he joined the Dodgers, the 32 hardest hit home runs for the Dodgers have all been hit by Shohei Ohtani, and the last one he hit was the hardest at 120 miles per hour off the bat. One extra one. If you're not paying attention to this, Kendall George is running wild down at the minor league level. George had another game where he had multiple stolen bases against the Space Cowboys down against Sugarland. He had 3 stolen bases. He needs just 3 more stolen bases to hit 100 with 4 games left to go. So let's get Kendall George to 100 stolen bases. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button for your Los Angeles Dodgers. Go to gearup.la for the best Dodgers merchandise in the game. Download our new Dodgers Nation app and check out our new website. Looks incredible. So go to dodgersnation.com for the latest Dodgers news, rumors, injury updates, and so much more. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.